Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Donna Thiesel, and I'm your host of Donna's Edge Talk Show, where truth matters. Thank you so much for watching every day, Monday through Friday, beginning at 1 p.m. Central, as I get to ride home with you in the afternoon. It's a fun ride. I enjoy it. I look forward to spending every single day with you. It's always grand fun. You can find us on the radio at icradio.media, where we are Fox News affiliates. You might also find us on television, Channel 182 Charter Communications, and Abundance Television, found on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. And do not forget that podcast on thenewscasters.com. Continue sending emails. I definitely appreciate those emails. So I received an email from Edith who says, what do you do with leftovers? And she said, especially around Christmas time, the holidays, and then even through the week. I love leftovers, but you have to be smart about it. And I found a really good article right here that says, don't throw that away. 10 creative ways to use leftovers. Okay, so this is and it's Brian Muth, the author, who says, how many times have you peered into the refrigerator and discovered, way out there in the back, a container that's been stashed there for weeks, overlooked and forgotten, and it looks funky looking. And you can't eat it, you got to throw it away. So you're not alone, everybody does this. So this is a survey from GLAD, the GLAD bags, found that nearly half, about 44% of Americans have found an item in their fridge in the past month that they didn't realize was there. They just forgot about it. So for all kinds of reasons, environmental, social, and financial reasons, it does make sense for us to get smarter about fully using the food that we purchase or that we actually harvest from our own gardens. And that means getting smarter about leftovers. And here are 10 tips that we can use for those extras. Number 1, create leftovers on purpose. I do this a lot. So this is what I like to do. I like to make spaghetti and meatballs. And so the meatballs, I like to make more meatballs than I think we're going to use in the spaghetti that we have for that day. I'll just go ahead and make a bunch of extra ones. Then the leftovers, what I'll do is put them on a cookie sheet. I put it inside the freezer, let it stay there until it is fully frozen, about 4 hours or so. Take those out and then put them in a good freezer bag. Now, don't skimp on freezer bags. This is a time not to be thinking about pennies. It's worth it in the long run to get the good ones. Make sure the good sturdy and they don't break easy. But make sure it says freezer bag. Then when Phil says, you know what, I think I'd like to have a sub sandwich, I got it done. All I've got to do is, because I have put those on the cookie sheets and they're individually put in that bag, I can get out about 4 for him, about 2 or 3 for me, and we make subs. Yeah, it's a real easy thing to do. Sometimes when you find things on sale, like I like to buy big cans of spaghetti sauce or pizza sauce and stuff like that. If you get yourself a good dehydrator, you can get a really good one for around $30 now. And go to Amazon and do that. Or to your Walmart and do the same thing. And you can put those in a dehydrator and actually freeze it or dehydrate it. That takes all the water out of it, all the water content. And then what I'll do is put all of that is dehydrated and put it into my coffee grinder. And then I've got already dried sauce. All I've got to do is add water to it. I got sauce. It didn't go bad. And guess what? It takes up less room in your cupboard as well. So I've got where I dry a lot of stuff. Okay, so creating with a purpose. So when you're planning meals, think about what those extras can become. It's real time and it's a time and budget saver. So if you prepare twice the vegetables you're going to need for dinner tonight, you'll have the starting point for a soup or pasta dish later in the week. Anticipate using leftover roast chicken on sandwiches. So cook twice as much rice as you think you'll need and freeze that extra as well. Now, another tip that I do, and this is for the freezer stuff, if I've made extra rice, I'm going to put it in the freezer bag, but I'm going to flatten it just as much as I possibly can. And then that way, if I don't want to use the entire gallon or half gallon of rice I put in the freezer, I can break it off all I'm going to use and put it back in the freezer bag. What's left over, put it right back into the freezer again. I don't cook that much, really. People say, you must cook day and night. No, I don't. I do it the lazy way. I cook ahead, and then I throw it in the freezer, and then we got food for later on. I did the same thing for Phil. He loves sausage. Now, I buy local for my sausage. So he takes the sausage, and I'll make sausage up, and then I'll crumble it, and as I'm frying it. Same thing. I put it on in freezer bags and I flatten out that freezer bag. Then every morning I just break off what he wants for his grits or his omelet or whatever he's going to eat in the morning. So you can do the same thing and it will look as if you spent hours, and whether you're the dude or the girl, your spouse is going to appreciate that because they're going to get some good meals. Okay, store leftovers smartly. Got to do that. Glass storage containers are not only reusable and sustainable, they also allow you to see what's inside. That way you're less likely to lose track of your leftovers. For freezing, use Ziploc gallon bags, the good ones, and label and date the contents on a piece of tape. I prefer not to use the tape because sometimes it can be off. So if you've put, say, hamburger meat and you've also put, say, sausage in the freezer, you may not know which is which. So as a quick glance, I just use my Sharpie and write on it. And in a lot of cases, I've used the bag twice because I've made more sausage and I've cleaned the bag out, by the way, between times. Or maybe my biscuits or something like that. So I would rather, and I put the date, so if I've added more sausage to the bag after I've cleaned the bag, I'll mark out the date and put the new date on there. That way you use the stuff that's oldest first. That's another way to save money there as well. But again, I prefer not to use labels myself because they can easily come off the bag. Okay, number 3, dedicate a leftovers night. Okay, so if you find your fridge or your freezer stuffed to the gills with leftover food, commit a eating down the fridge one night a week. That's a good idea too. Think about that one. Number 4, turn dinner into lunch. Another money and time saver for busy people. Stash a lunchable portion of dinner in a container and pack it for lunch the next day. So with a bit of planning and no extra effort, you can create a week's worth of healthy take-to-work lunches. When I was working with GTE, and it would be really like busy at lunchtime, and so my boss Ed would say, get out there, go get you some lunch. Or eat lunch. You need to learn how to take breaks, which I just would work through it because I'd done my own business before and that's all I knew to do. And so what I would do, because I didn't have time by the time you get in the car and you're stuck in traffic, whatever, you don't have time to eat the lunch. So I just wanted to brown bag mine. So I would just bring my leftovers and, sometimes it would be a sandwich and sometimes it would be leftover spaghetti or something like that. But I had to really watch the people I work with. Sometimes they'd take my food because they thought it was good. But you can do that to save money. Okay, now think ingredients. Don't think leftovers, think ingredients. This is a great idea right here. So it says turn extra pasta or cooked vegetables into a frittata. Okay, so what you'll do is blend cooked vegetables with a can of whole tomatoes and can a veggie-packed sauce for pasta. Good idea. Create burritos with leftover cooked rice, meat, and vegetables and top them with sour cream and salsa. I'll tell you something I have done with leftover pasta and leftover spaghetti. It makes a great fajita. So what you can do, and you can turn it into more of a Mexican style. Leftover chili the same way. So I'll just, or maybe corn chips or something like that. So leftover chili, a million ways you can use leftover chili. So going ahead and put the fajita out there, put some chili in there. May have to heat it first. Another thing with my fajitas, I like to wet them. That way they taste, they're not as hard and brittle. So I'll go ahead and wet them just a little bit. And then I'll go ahead and heat the chili, the leftover chili up on the stove because I think it stays hotter longer. My opinion about that. Some people will do it in the microwave and that's fine. But I'll heat it up. But I will put the fajitas in the microwave for about 30 seconds, and that kind of heats it up. And again, I've wet the fajitas so they're not going to get hardened being in the microwave. I will put the chili on there and then also put some rice if I have leftover rice And boy, I soup it up. I put a lot of cheese on mine. And then you can put some leftover tomatoes, maybe some canned tomatoes, get some of that and put that on top of it as well. Or if you have dried tomatoes, that's the perfect time to use your dried tomatoes. Then I'll go ahead and fold that thing up. I put it back in the microwave for about 40 seconds. We got fajitas. You can do the same thing with leftover chicken as well. It is super, super good that way. Okay, now we're talking about this one, and that's make soup. Yeah, the steamed, roasted, or grilled vegetables that you served as a side dish one night can become soup on another day. So in a blender, you want to puree the vegetables with 3 or 4 cups of vegetable or chicken broth. Then you can warm the soup in a pot, season it to taste with salt and pepper, and finish the soup with a little bit of pesto, olive oil, or croutons. It's good. And I'm going to have to tell you, leftover potatoes that have been roasted are wonderful. They make the best potato soup ever. And it's super easy to make as well. Number 7, you want to salvage stale bread. So this is what I do. There's a place I buy bread, and it's $1 a loaf. Yes, you heard me. It's $1 a loaf. And it's maybe a day old. This is what I do. It saves a ton of money all the time. I'll go ahead and buy a couple, 3 loaves at a time, and I'll put them in the freezer. And then as I'm using the bread, it takes me 2 minutes. All I've got to do is take it out of the freezer, take out the bread we want for sandwiches or whatever, tie it back up really good so it doesn't get the freezer burn, put it back in the freezer. Then what I'll do is get some of my leftover turkey or my leftover ham or leftover whatever, and I have it's an Emerald toaster oven. I suggest you get one of those. They're inexpensive, and they do everything from making bread to cookies to whatever. And so I'll go ahead and get the bread. It's frozen, all right? So I'll go ahead and put a little cheese on it, and then I'll put leftover chicken or pasta or whatever on top of it, and then it makes a great cheese sandwich. Put it in that oven for just about 5 minutes with the Emerald oven, and it's cooked for you. I mean, I do this a lot of times when I do my tapings. I go to Bobby Ledbetter at Twin City Used Car Sales in Gadsden once a month. So I go there, and I come home. I'm making a mad dash. First thing I do is get the bread out. Then I change clothes. Okay, then I don't want to wear a suit while I'm cooking, or a dress, or a pantsuit or whatever. And then I'll go ahead and get that started, and then we have lunch to eat, or we have a early supper or whatever. And it's all been done for me. All I got to do is throw it in the Emerald oven, or you can put it in your oven. It doesn't have to be an Emerald oven. And you can put it in your oven and put it in there. Bake it put it on about a 325 degree oven, and leave it in there for about 5 to 7 minutes, and it's fully cooked. There you go. You got a sandwich. Let's go into a commercial break. We're going to return in just a few minutes. Y'all hang it. Twin City Used Car Sales has been serving drivers in the Northeast Alabama area for years with a quality selection of late model used cars, SUVs, and pickup trucks. On top of our extensive selection and competitive prices, we offer professional auto financing services for used car buyers of all credit levels. Whether you've just begun your search or you're ready to secure your next vehicle, at Twin City Used Car Sales, you will drive away with the vehicle of your dreams. The sales and finance staff at Twin City Used Car Sales looks forward to serving you, and you can apply for financing online before your visit to our used dealership in Gadsden, Alabama. Check us out on the web at twincityusedcars.com or go by our location at 901 First Avenue, Gadsden, Alabama. We sincerely look forward to serving you. At Lamone's Mexican Restaurant, located in Henniger, Alabama, and voted Best Mexican Restaurant of DeKalb County, Alabama 2020, we're here to serve you with authentic Mexican cuisine. Order easily online by going to lamonsmex.com or call 256-657-3999 to place your order. We're open Sunday through Thursday, 11 a.m. to 9 p.m., and Friday and Saturday, 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. Whether you're celebrating a cozy date night for two or a celebration for a crowd, at Lamone's you'll love our atmosphere and friendly servers. Thank you for dining with Lamone's Mexican Restaurant. At Liberty Bank, we're all about community, whether it's to help with a charity fundraiser or help families in need. Toys at Christmas or a local football team, we're here for you. You see, we realize the importance of family. Sometimes it's to build a new home or necessary home repairs. We're here for you. If you like the feel of a small town bank with all the conveniences of a big city bank, we're here to serve you. You will find us at any of our convenient locations in DeKalb, Marshall, Etowah, and Blount counties in North Alabama. You can call and speak with any of our friendly staff at 256-659-2175 or check us out on the web at libertybankal.com. And thank you for your support of our community. Member FDIC Equal Housing Lender.
Because of your overwhelming support, our 1488 MyPillow has been one of the biggest sales in MyPillow history. I couldn't think of a better way to say thank you than to extend our wholesale pricing through Christmas. Get a classic standard MyPillow for only $14.88. Upgrade to a queen size, just $18.88. King size, only $1 more. Get my body pillows for only $29.88. And ready? Multi-use MyPillows, only $9.88. It's perfect time to stock up for Christmas gifts for everyone on your list. Go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to take advantage of our wholesale pricing. Including my classic standard MyPillow is only $14.88. But that's not all. I'm so confident you're going to love our classic MyPillows that I'm going to extend my 60-day money-back guarantee until March 1st, 2025. Plus, orders over $75 ship absolutely free.
The only place I buy my beef is Lone Tree Ranch in Collinsville, Alabama. Their cattle is born and raised on their ranch, grass and grain fed, and you can feel confident when you serve your family and friends because their beef is all natural and no antibiotics or hormones are added. You can buy whole beef or perhaps go in with family or friends and buy half. Their customer service is number one as they take care of the delivery to their local processor and can deliver to your home for a small added fee. They also offer herd replacement heifers. I always call Lone Tree Ranch in Collinsville, Alabama for my beef specialty recipes and cookouts, and you can too. Food shortages are increasing, so buy local by calling 256-523-6462. That's 256-523-6462. We're back from the commercial break. My name is Donna, and I'm your host of Donna's Edge Talk Show. What in the world? Don't throw your leftovers away. Cook those. Those are going to be fantastic meals, and the flavor is going to be in there even better, especially your pasta dishes. I mean, anytime a pasta dish sets out, it's even better. Lasagna, you don't have to add anything to that. Just go ahead and reheat it. And let me give you a little secret now about microwaves, because if you're not really careful, when you put it into the microwave, you put it in there too long, and especially when you have lasagna, it's going to harden, and it's not going to taste as good. You're going to be practically chewing on it. You'll wind up giving it to your dog and hope he doesn't break his teeth. So what I'll do is I'll do one plate at a time. I'll put as much of the leftovers to the plate we want of the lasagna, and I'll put Phil's in there for about 30 seconds. I'll take his out, let it rest, put mine in there for 30 seconds. Sometimes, depending on how much you put on the plate, it may take a couple, 3 minutes, but I alternate that, and then what happens is I've got it, and lasagna tastes like it has just been cooked. Sometimes you can freshen it up just a little bit by adding just a little bit of cheese and letting that melt after you've heated it up. Now, we were talking about salvaging stale bread, and I told you about I buy it at a place that sells it for $1, and it's really good bread, by the way. And then I'll just take out what I want and put the rest of it in the freezer. This is what they say about this. Is that loaf of bread good bakery bread? As it loses its freshness after a day or two, what do the Italians do? The Italians half the loaf crosswise, drizzle it with good olive oil, and they'll rub it with the cut side of a half-ripe tomato. Then they're going to season that bread with salt and pepper, wrap it in foil, and they bake it until it's warm. Another idea, if you got a big crop of tomatoes or you went to the farmer's market and you bought a bunch of tomatoes thinking, what was I thinking of? Look at all these tomatoes. Put them in the food dehydrator. You'll be eating tomato dishes all winter long. I have probably about 15 quart jars full of dehydrated tomatoes. I use them in soups. I use them in salads. Now you'll need to rehydrate, and if you're making a soup out of it, natural thing to do. Just take it out of the jars, throw it in the pot, and man, you got it's like that fresh tomato taste all over again. Stash your vegetable scraps is number 8. As an alternative to composting, keep vegetable scraps to make stock. Keep a gallon Ziploc bag in the freezer and then add the trimmings, like your carrots and your fennel tops, ends of onions or leeks, tomato cores, stems of herbs and greens, your corn cobs even, and the like. Any produce that's past its prime in the fridge can go in as well. So when the bag is full, defrost the contents, dump into a pot, defrost the contents, dump into a pot, and add water just to cover it. Simmer for 2 hours, then you'll strain it and you'll have better than bought ever vegetable stock, which can be frozen in that very same gallon bag. Another thing you can do with leftovers, and it's like, say, your veggies, you can make your own vinegar. Yes, you can. And I make it all the time. And it's almost like making a beer or a wine, and it goes past that stage and it turns into vinegar. I use that vinegar for everything. Salad dressings, just add a little bit of, whatever you want to use, avocado, whatever, and make a really, really good one. Using your oils with it is good as well. But that's what I do. Now it's a time process, not work, but I'm just talking about it's a time process. It takes time to make it. And I do have a video, so you can go back and you can go on Facebook or YouTube and just type in Donna making vinegar, and you'll see the whole process and how it works. And it's better than anything store-bought. If you go to some of the health food stores, they're going to charge you a lot of money for that. So make your own and save a bunch of money. Number 9, create kitchen sink meals. Kitchen sink meals, what does that mean? Okay, it says a great way to use extra cooked vegetables, bits of cheese, grilled or roasted steak, shrimp or chicken is to toss them with lettuce and your favorite dressing. Absolutely. That's what you call the kitchen sink meals. Oh, I'm always making extra chicken. And then I'll put it in, I like to buy the pint size, I get gallon, I also get pint sized freezer bags. And that's what I do with it. Like, we had a bunch of turkey left over from Thanksgiving, a lot. So instead of eating turkey every meal, you'll get tired of it. So instead of doing that, I'll just put them in little individual bags. And then when I'm ready for, let's say we want to make turkey sandwiches, or we want to make ham sandwiches, we want to make ham omelets, any of those things, I've got it stashed, and I've saved money because I bought it in bulk. And you can do the same thing. I hardly spend anything for groceries. Even when we had this bad economy, the past 4 years has been terrible. I didn't miss a lick because I buy in volume, and you can do the same thing. Just put it in the freezer. You don't have to have a huge freezer for that. So those are things you can do. Okay, portion and store. I like this idea right here. Many food products come in extra large sizes, which is what we're just talking about. You can go to Costco, you can go to Walmart, and you can go to Sam's Club, and you can buy, that's what Brad and Larissa do. So they'll buy it in extra big bags. And then they do this very same thing right here. Okay, let's say you won't use all that sliced bread right away. For example, separate the loaf into portions for your family to use in a day. Place a sheet of waxed paper between the portions, wrap, and freeze. Tortillas, pita bread, and similar items can be saved the very same way. Likewise, divide money saving large packages of meat into portions and freeze. Yeah, don't buy like this big thing of ground beef, like 10 pounds, and put it in the freezer. You want to divide that up first. Believe me, I was young once, and I did that. Then what was I having to do? I was having to get almost a saw to cut the thing apart. And you don't want to thaw it out, because then you're thawing it and then you're refreezing it again, so it's not good that way. So again, Just spend a little bit of time going ahead, especially if it's in the summertime. You want to do that very, very fast because of the humidity that we have here in the South. I have to do that. So this is something I found right here. It says, why use leftovers? So the National Resources Defense Council estimates that up to 40% of food grown, processed, and transported in the United States will never be eaten. Now that's sad. It's just terrible throwaway food. Now, according to the Food and Agricultural Organization of the United Nations, roughly 70 billion pounds of food is lost in the United States each year. And nearly 1/3 of that food waste happens because we purchase, cook, or serve more than we consume. At the same time, about 1 in 6 Americans face hunger, according to Feeding America. So getting into that habit of using up our leftovers is one way to have an impact on this important issue. I feel terrible about throwing food away when I know somebody's hungry and somebody can use it. Okay, I saw this article, and we're going to skip through this one. We won't have a whole lot of time, but this is how to keep your kids from wasting food. I was a kid once, so how to get kids to waste food less. Newsflash, if you have young kids, they're going to do it, and even you can do it. Take a family food waste challenge. Take a 6-week food week challenge as a family. Kids will have fun measuring how much food gets wasted and coming up with ideas on how to waste less. Now, you can even set a family goal like reducing overall waste by 25%. If your family succeeds, you all get a reward, like a trip to an amusement park or a dinner at a favorite restaurant. Okay, plan for a week of meals. I love doing that. So planning ahead not only reduces waste, it also allows your busy families to take fewer grocery trips, saving time and gas. Okay, and check into a 6 o'clock Scrabble. What's that? Okay, online family meal planning is a service, and I'll spell this for you. It's called Goldfarb. So Goldfarb. You want to Google that. So they have a meal planning service. It estimates the number of decisions you need to make and takes the stress out of planning for and preparing meals. Number 3, limit pre-meal snacking. Don't let your children snack mindlessly when you're approaching dinner time. Not only are they less likely to make a healthy snack choice during that time of the day, they'll also fill up their little tummies too much to eat a normal portion during the dinner, increasing the challenges and the chances of wasted food and less nourished kids. Make foods that are easy to eat. How many times you had to toss a half-eaten banana or an apple with 2 bites taken out of it instead of offering whole fruits and vegetables? Cut them into bite-sized pieces. A study at Cornell University found that offering sliced apples at an elementary cafeteria increased fruit sales by 61%. Let me tell you what you can do for lunchtime. I used to do this all the time when I was working at GTE. So I would just want a snack throughout the day. So what I would do, because I wouldn't have time to eat a whole apple. You never knew when the phone was going to ring, customer needs something, whatever. So what I would do is I would go ahead and slice that apple into about 8 pieces. And then I would put it in one of my little baggies with a zip, by the way, not the fold over kind. You're going to wind up losing your food in your purse if you do that. And then I would just put some lemon juice on it. That would keep that apple from going dark, and it would be more tasty too. Then I'd bring a little bit of peanut butter, and I'd put peanut butter on top of that apple, and it would give me energy throughout the day because, after you've eaten lunch, for some reason you get that little sinking kind of feeling around 2 or 3-ish, something like that. That way I would have a good snack, and I would have those apples that have been dipped in a little bit of lemon juice to give it extra flavor, and it wouldn't turn dark. So that's another thing you can do. Thank you so much for watching. You make my day. And thank you so much for the emails. You can continue sending emails to Donna@DonnasEdge.com. That's Donna@DonnasEdge.com. You can also find us on television, syndicated on Abundance Television, found on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. Don't forget the podcast on thenewscasters.com. Definitely appreciate you watching. I hope you have a super duper awesome rest of the day.